What's up guys, today we're going to be unboxing and taking a look at the Realme 6 Pro. This is a mid-range smartphone right now for around 320 bucks. I will put the link down below and I'm really excited to check this out. So in the box, you get your usual stuff, your booklets. You also get a clear coat case with this guy, which is really nice. You also get the 30-watt fast charging brick, and it's a really nice cord, USB Type-C cord as well. Which is something that I really like. So the stuff in here was really nice. I actually really like the box. It looks really unique too. So when you get the phone out, you're gonna notice it does have a nice little weight to it as well, and it has a very premium feel to it for, you know, a $300 mid-range. Some phones are kind of like plastic. This one has a glass back and a plastic frame, so it gives it that nice kind of premium feel, which is something that I really like as well. Now the design on here has sort of like this zigzag pattern. You can see it's kind of like purple-ish, violent kind of color. It's really cool, so I really like it. You do have a camera bump on here that intrudes. It's a quad camera setup, which we will talk about. I absolutely love where they put the fingerprint scanner as well, because it's a big phone and it's just very easy to reach. You do have your power buttons on the side, or your volume rockers. The headphone jack is down below, along with USB Type-C and the single firing speaker. Now when you come over to the front, you have a 6.6-inch IPS LCD display. It's a full 1080p display, $399 for the PPI, and it's a very nice display. You have 84.7 screen to body ratio, so you do have a little bit of bezel at the bottom, but overall I really like the display so far on here. You also have the double punch hole, as you can see, and I thought it was gonna bother me, but once you get it, it's actually not that bad. So it might look kind of awkward if you're coming from like a single punch hole or just a no notch phone, but it's not that bad really. And it's also a 90 hertz display, so that's one of the things I really love about this phone. It's just super smooth. Colors are very vibrant on this display. It is pretty bright. I took it outdoors to take some photos, and I wasn't struggling to really see. It was a sunny day, so I don't have too many complaints about the brightness or anything like that. Now this is my first Realme phone, so this does come with Android 10 with the Realme UI, and I've been playing around with it, and it feels kind of a lot like MIUI 11. It's packed with a whole bunch of features and stuff like that. The UI itself is very smooth, and again, it does remind me of kind of like the MIUI, but what I really love about this are the toggles. So you have a lot of useful toggles that they throw in here. You have the screen recorder on here, your mute notifications on here, you have your Google Assistant, the screencast, smart driving, Dolby Atmos, your one tap to lock, just a lot of stuff that I actually would use. Your eye care, kid space on here. The one-handed mode is probably one of my favorite ones, just having that toggle there. Also have a toggle to clean the storage. This phone also has the NFC toggle, assistant ball, so basically what that is like a little virtual home screen. And then you have your Realme share, so just a lot of stuff. I actually just am a huge fan of like massive amounts of toggles, because for some reason I just like to go here to sort of access everything. So I do really love that. So when you go to the settings, you are greeted with a lot of customization options as well. So if you guys want to see me run through the whole OS, be sure to let me know, but there's just a ton of stuff in here. You have a game space, an app cloner, settings for your split screen, then you have additional settings for your gestures. Just a lot of stuff that would take a really long time to go through. That's why I said it reminds me of MIUI 11 a lot. Now things like gestures and stuff on here, since it's 90 hertz, it just feels super smooth, just like on the OnePlus 7 Pro that I have, and everything just works on here with that 8 gigs of RAM, multitasking and everything. Is just a really nice experience. Now getting into the phone, again, you have those two options. You have the fingerprint scanner, which is really fast. It works great. It's one of my favorite implementations, having it on the side with the power button. I think it's just better to me than putting it on the back. And you also have the face unlock, which again is very fast as well, so no issues there. Now this phone has the Snapdragon 720G along with the Adreno 618 GPU. You also have micro SD support, 64 gigs of storage. This model is the 8 gigs of RAM, so it depends on which one you get. So you can get 128 gigs with 8 gigs or 64 gigs with 6 gigs. I am going to drop a full gaming test, but the games that I played perfectly smooth on here. As as you can see on Call of Duty Mobile at max settings, so you can max out the graphics or the FPS, which is something that's really awesome. As you can see, it's playing just fine. And also, I did not notice any heat problems yet with this phone, but again, I'm going to put it through a full gaming test to find out. Now, I was worried about gaming with the double punch hole, but that wasn't really an issue here, because if you hold the phone where the punch hole is on the downward left hand side, then it's not a big issue. But if you have it to the right hand side, then you kind of notice it a little bit more. But if it's at the bottom, then it's not going to be really noticeable, and it doesn't really interrupt. Now, this phone does have a single firing speaker, which is actually pretty loud, so I was really happy with that. You also have, again, NFC for your mobile payments on here as well. The only thing this phone is really missing is an IPS rating or any kind of water rating, so it just does not have it. This phone also has some pretty solid cameras from the pictures that I took. So you have a 64 megapixel wide and 12 megapixel telephoto, an 8 megapixel ultra wide, and a 2 megapixel macro camera. You also have 4K video, and you also have that dual camera setup up front, a 16 megapixel wide and 8 megapixel ultra wide. So as you can see from these shots, you're getting some pretty solid shots, very high in detail. Color accuracy is fine. Sometimes it can be a little oversaturated, but it depends on the kind of photos that you're taking and what you like. But I found just the photos to be overall pretty good quality as well. The macro camera isn't all that great. It's 2 megapixels, and you lose a lot of color, and it just doesn't look super great. So it's usable to be able to like read small text and stuff like that, but wouldn't really take photos with it. And you do sort of get like a kind of drop in quality with the ultra wide camera as well, which is something that I noticed with both cameras. So if you take a look at the photos up front, you can see the selfie camera is actually pretty good. I wasn't in any light, just in the house. And then when you switch to the ultra wide, you do notice like a drop in quality a little bit, but I'm sure if I was like outside, you would have a very good quality with this one. But overall, you will notice kind of like a drop in quality with these ultra wides. But the overall main sensors on these phones, or on this phone, is really great. Now, the battery situation on here is really good as well. You have a 4,300 milliamp battery with 30-watt fast charging, so it is very fast charging on here, which is something that I really appreciate. Now, you do not have any type of wireless charging on here, and battery life is rated at around 9 hours of screen on time from what I'm seeing. So you do get really good battery life on here, so that is definitely something that you're not going to have to worry about sort of running back and forth to the charger. So overall, my first impressions of this phone, is a super solid phone. We're going to be doing more comparisons and tests with this phone, so be sure to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.